Hi, I would like to introduce you to the great horses of Japan. I'm not very good at English, so there may be strange expressions, but please forgive me. This time is Symboli Rudolph. He's a male horse, born in 1981. His mother was called Sweet Luna. When Rudolph was born, he had a crescent moon pattern on his forehead. He had a calm demeanor from a young age, and was given his name by the Roman Emperor Rudolph. Rudolph made his debut in a 1,000-meter race in July 1983. His trainer was already looking ahead to the Derby at this time. And he instructed his jockey, "It's a 1,000-meter race, but you have to race 1,600 meters. To be honest, I don't know what the difference is between running 1,000 meters and 1,600 meters. But he won here no problem." Next, Rudolph ran in the Icho Stakes. This time it was a 1,600-meter race. Rudolph won this race like it was nothing. His trainer had this to say: this time he raced a 1,600-meter race for 2,400 meters. Rudolph then dared to run in a regular open race 2 weeks earlier, instead of the more prestigious Asahi Cup Futurity Stakes. There's a reason he didn't go to Asahi Cup Futurity Stakes. In fact, on the day of the race he ran, the Japan Cup was held. Rudolph's owner made this decision. In other words, he wanted to show the world's visiting people involved in horse racing at the Japan Cup the wonderful horse that is Symboli Rudolph. What a horrible person Rudolph's owner is. And what a terrible horse Rudolph is, too, with such high expectations from this time of year. Of course, he had an easy time winning this race, too. The next year he entered the Yaeisho race in March. This race is famous as a trial race for the Triple Crown. There was an undefeated horse here named Bizen Nishiki. He'd won a Grade 3, which made him the favorite. Rudolph was still unproven at this point. But in the race, Rudolph won. The Triple Crown race began, and Rudolph was the favorite in the first Satsuki show. He ran third down the road and took the lead on the fourth corner. On the straightaway course, he was racing alongside Bizen Nishiki. They bumped into each other hard. When they crossed the finish line, Rudolph was in first place. Bizen was about a length behind. Rudolph won Satsuki show in record time. At the award ceremony, the jockey held up his index finger to the sky to make the crowd aware of the Triple Crown. Many horses avoided running in the next Derby for fear of Rudolph's strength. The race has begun. I don't know if it's true or not, but there is this episode in this Derby. On the road, Rudolph's jockey gave him the go signal, but he didn't react at all. The jockey must have been in a hurry. Not that the horse could talk, but at this moment, he could hear Rudolph's voice. "Hold on tight." As Rudolph entered the straightaway course, he sped up on his own and overtook the horse in front of him. The jockey said after the race, "Rudolph taught me how to race." Bizen Nishiki was heavily defeated in 14th place. The distance was too long for him. Rudolph's jockey held up 2 fingers to the sky at the awards ceremony to show off his double crown. It's fall. Rudolph started at the St. Lytkinen in September. He won effortlessly in record time. He's entered the last of the Triple Crown races, the Kikasho. He took a position in the middle of the road. And on the last straight, he broke away. A horse named Goldway came at him, but he was able to outrun it and win. Thus was born Symboli Rudolph, an undefeated Triple Crown winner of 8 races and 8 victories. He was the first undefeated Triple Crown winner in history. Of course, the jockey raised 3 fingers to the sky at the awards ceremony. He ran in the Japan Cup 2 weeks later. It's a bit of a tough schedule for him. This Japan Cup has become a showdown of the Triple Crown horses. In fact, a year before Rudolph, there was another horse that won the Triple Crown, and Rudolph is the second consecutive Triple Crown winner. The other Triple Crown winner is called Mr. CB. Other entrants included Bedtime from the UK and Majesty's Prince from the US. The question is, which Triple Crown winner is stronger? It came down to which horse would win the Triple Crown, but Japan's Cat's Raggy Ace came out on top. This was the first victory for a Japanese horse in the Japan Cup. Rudolph chased him well, but he came in third. Mr. CB was beaten badly in 10th place. The next race was the Arima Kinnan at the end of the year. In addition to Rudolph, Mr. CB and Cat's Raggy Ace also ran in the race. Cat's Raggy Ace had run away with the Japan Cup, and now Rudolph was marking him. Mr. CB is a driven horse. He chased from the rear as usual. Rudolph passed the Cat's Raggy Ace on the final straight. He then crossed the finish line, setting a record time by 2 lengths. Mr. CB came in third. Rudolph was named Horse of the Year with a record of 6 wins from 7 starts that year. Rudolph started the following year with the Grade 2 Nikkei show in March. His odds of winning were 1.0. In the race, there were no horses running away, so Rudolph naturally took the lead. And just like that, he crossed the finish line without a spurt. There was a 4-horse gap between him and the next horse. In the next race, Tenno Show Spring, he faced Mr. CB for the 3rd time. Mr. CB sped up early trying to beat Rudolph. Rudolph's jockey saw this and signaled for him to speed up in order to chase him, but he didn't move. But when Mr. CB stalled at the entrance to the straight, Rudolph sped up himself to overtake him. Rudolph always wins as a matter of course. This is the 5th title he's won. After this, he was training for Takarazuka Kinnan, but avoided it due to lameness. Therefore, the next race was to go straight to Tenno Show Autumn. But Rudolph got off to a slow start. And even though the race was fast-paced, Rudolph was getting faster and faster, and sped up early. As a result, he lost a lot of stamina, and although he took the lead at the entrance of the straight, he could not increase the gap. And the dark horse, Gallop Dinah, the 13th favorite, came from behind. Gallop Dinah was still in the semi-open class and obviously a lower class, but surprisingly he passed Rudolph to finish in 1st place. Rudolph was defeated for the 2nd time. He then tried again for the Japan Cup. He'd lost this race the year before, finishing 3rd. He was, of course, the most popular choice. Rudolph chased in the middle of the road. And then he broke away, coming into the straightaway. Rocky Tiger, a challenger from a local race, came from behind. The winner was Rudolph, with Rocky Tiger in second place. It was the first time the most popular horse won the Japan Cup. And for the first time, Japanese horses dominated the first and second places. Rudolph had a plan for an overseas expedition. It had been planned several times before, but each time it had been abandoned due to Rudolph's physical condition or minor injuries. And he decided to head to America after his victory in the umamusume at the end of the year. First of all, it was a minimum requirement to win the umamusume twice in a row to show that he was the strongest in Japan. He announced that this race would be his last race in Japan. Miho Shinzen, who won the Double Crown that year, has entered the competition. There was also Gallop Dyna, who beat Rudolph in the Tenno show. But they were not Rudolph's enemies. Rudolph took the lead before the last corner and opened up a gap on the rest of the field. Miho Shinzen is also a pretty strong horse, but he was 4 lengths behind Rudolph. Rudolph finished his last race in Japan with a convincing victory. He was named Horse of the Year again that year. Rudolph flew to America. He first ran in the San Luis Rey Stakes in March, but unfortunately finished 6th out of 7. After the race, they found ligamentum flavum in Rudolph's leg. This could have been the reason he lost the war. Rudolph has now retired. He has a total of 13 wins in 16 races and 7 Grade 1 wins. 7 Grade 1 wins, an unbelievable record at the time. This record was unbroken for a long time, but was broken in 2020 when Almond Eye won 9 Grade 1 races. But it may not be a simple comparison, because there are more Grade 1 races now than ever before. They have made great achievements and footprints in the time they have lived, that's all. That's how Rudolph became a stallion. His best achievement as a sire was the birth of Tokai'tio. For more information on Tokai'tio, please check out my previous videos. Other foals included Ayrton Symboli, who was active in long-distance racing. But compared to Tokai'tio, I think they're a bit underwhelming. Rudolph's race record is so great that I had high expectations for foal and others, but except for Tokai'tio, I might be a little disappointed. I said it was disappointing, but I think it's safe to say that his stallion performance has achieved some success. There are many foals who have won graded races. It's simply not as good as Tokai'tio. Rudolph entered his eternal resting place in 2011 at the age of 30. Symboli Rudolph is a horse from a very long time ago, but I wanted to introduce him to you because he is legendary. He was a great horse, very consistent, very strong, and very beautiful. That's all for this time. If you want to know more about Japanese horses, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.